One of the finer things of life is snot rockets. I just did a couple snot rockets. I think the book that is Manifest that came through this one. And I have a list of the finer things in life, the things you can't put a price tag on, the things that life gives us freely. God, you've given to me freely, so in turn, I desire to give back what I've been given freely. And these finer things in life that can't be bought with money. One of the things on that list ought to be snot rockets. I don't need a tissue. I don't really need anything, actually. And that's the beauty of being completely satisfied and happy with where you're at currently. Complete contentment in all circumstances. And when you carry and operate from a certain energy, there is an absence of doubt, fear, and worry. And that is the essence of a true teacher, to help us be free from perceived problems, perceived troubles, to see that actually, in reality, there's no problems. They're illusory, no matter how seemingly real. It's all a part of the wonderful dream. So everything is not as it seems. For one who sees, it's very liberating to view all of life as a dream. A very vivid and alive and wonderful dream. And no matter what you may be going through, what curveballs life throws at you, perhaps you have 99 problems, but a lovely lady isn't one. Some people can't fathom the peace of God, and it's really not understandable. In the Bible, it's the peace that surpasses all understanding, and that's because it's not conceptual. It's not anything that can be contained within a box, within an intellectual framework, or a mental pigeonhole. When one is whole, this peace is always present. And again, doubt, fear, and worry are absent. It's not even a part of one's consciousness. It's crazy how some people get hung up on certain concepts, and I used to too. Therefore, I'm not speaking as if I'm higher than you. Yes, there's a hierarchy to mankind, and the people at the top of the scale of consciousness are naturally kind. The irony of not caring, but deeply caring. Deeply loving, but being detached. Being detached from certain outcomes or results, but still being a willing participant in life, in the process of life, which there is no beginning or ending. What is the essence of eternity that's within you, internally, for all eternity? When we realize this is our identity, there's this peace that I speak of, that when you strive to be this peace, to practice it, some people may not understand it, and that's okay. We can say, you know. If you know this peace, you know. And so, right now I'm emitting a certain signal, and those who see the value will recognize the state of peace that I speak. And if it's not about peace or love, or living in accordance with your higher nature, then it likely isn't rooted in truth, at least higher truth, because there's levels to truth. And when you sincerely, devotedly strive to live in accordance with your higher nature, with higher truth, some people may try to sabotage you or come at you, come after you. At least I've realized this to be true. But you realize that they can't touch you. And so any perceived enemy, any enemy on the external, is really a reflection of inharmony on the internal. So when you've gone through the mental and spiritual purification process, then there's no enemy on the external. Jesus would say, love your enemies. And of course, for a lot of people, that's easier said than done. But when you become love, it's not something that you give or do or take or ration out. It's something that you are, that you simply be. And when you become this, then there's no enemy. They can hate you, love you, whatever. It doesn't change the fact that you are. Nothing can change, can get in the way of your inner peace. And thus, in a way, you've mastered earthly life, because you can't be intimidated, can't be flustered, can't be threatened, can't be programmed or controlled. So you're free in the timeless awareness that is always present, omnipresent, within all of us. It's synonymous. And thus, you fall in love with the process itself. And there's faith, a deep-rooted, confident, unwavering faith in the process, that everything is in accordance with divine providence. And thus, Alex, or whatever person, can simply wholeheartedly let go and surrender to that process. But don't get it twisted. Surrender by no means means give up. In fact, surrender is only possible from a higher level of consciousness, where, yes, there's doingness, there's action, but it stems from a different motivation. It's no longer about personal survival. That has long been transcended. The motivation is now one of serving unconditionally. And for there to be serving, there has to be doing. Love is expressed in action. And, of course, in simply being. When there's a balance between the two, there's wholeness. And in this wholeness, we realize our essence. And it's reflected in everything else, everyone else. You see them for who they truly are. Beyond the mask, beyond the persona, beyond the surface. When you look into their eyes, you see the light of God. It's so obvious. In a post today on the community tab, I posted something that says, a quote that says, "See God in everything, but keep it a secret." And my comment was, I must admit, it's hard to keep it a secret. How can you? I mean, true spirituality, we could say it's a higher attainment to come back to the world rather than just live a life in complete solitude. And to be a real lone wolf. True spirituality entails being a willing participant of life, being completely involved, yet from a higher context where there's no attachments. Everything is completely conscious. Your involvement is by choice. And so you're always in tune with God's voice. The breeze as it blows through the trees. The trees carry a certain essence. I like to imagine that they're a hand popping up out of the earth, waving up at the sky. Hi, God. Yes, I worship the Most High God, even while grounded on this planet, while serving it. Being a willing participant, an unconditional servant. This is everyone's calling. Whatever your personal calling, we all share this commonality, that we're here to serve divinity. And therefore, when this is our perpetual state of mind, again, we're naturally kind. That's not to say that when it's time to put our foot down, we can. Sometimes being involved with life means realizing that keeping the peace all the time is not the answer. Sometimes something won't click with certain people unless you're assertive and you almost talk down to them. And I've realized this. That some people just don't get it. They see kindness as weakness or passiveness, when really silence is power. Being the loving witness, not needing to vouch for itself or prove itself. It simply is. And when the time is fitting, it simply wishes to express itself. And thus, I am blessed that I'm not dumb. I can speak In other words, not like Helen Keller, deaf and dumb, can't speak. It's a beautiful thing that I think many people take for granted. We've been given senses. And it's a blessing. But we don't want to be a servant of the senses. We want to serve God. The mind is a beautiful servant, but a dangerous master. And thus, when you master earthly life, there's this peace. And I'm not claiming to be a master, but simply communicating mastery.